Hello, everybody. I'm Brett, and I am here to share with you a bit more of a deep dive into 168 hours. Rita, I hope everyone watched Ree's planning video that she just, I think it went out last week. But she talks a lot about planning and a lot of what works for her. And one of the tactics she mentioned was 168 hours. So I am going to do a bit more of a deep dive and really kind of give you guys my spin on how I like to utilize this concept. So let's get some intentions going. Rub your hands together, create that yummy, yummy warmth. Hands on our heart and some deep breaths. My intention is really just to share a tool that hopefully gives you a sense of abundance when it comes to time, and just some other resources to even dig deeper, to really show up for yourself and figure out how to best utilize, really savor the 168 hours that we each have in a week. So I have a card that I pulled from my Power Thoughts card. It's a Louise Hay Power Thoughts, and I pulled this. This is, my first time doing a Zoom video, and so this is actually take number 7. But this was from take number 1, and I really just loved it, and so I'm just using it instead of pulling a different one each time. So this is the card I pulled. I love life. It is my birthright to live fully and freely. I give to life exactly what I want life to give to me. I am glad to be alive. I love life. So watering our flower, right? Watering our flower of life. But I love this idea that it's our birthright to live fully and freely. And that's really what 168 hours is all about. So there is this reoccurring series on New York Mag, NYMag.com, and it's called Things I Think About. And it's just different people write about just pop culture things, or just things that they've been thinking about for their whole lives. And this is something that I have always thought about since I saw the movie Empire Records. So let's see if I got this share right. So it's been probably 15 years since I've actually seen the movie, which is sad because I was like, oh, I love that movie, but when was the last time I really watched it? But there is a scene where Liv Tyler's character gets picked up for work, and her friend, she made cupcakes, and her friend is like, where did you find the time to make cupcakes? And the way that Liv says this, and it just has always stuck with me, she's like, my dad always said there's 24 usable hours in every day. And granted, I think, she's on probably lots of speed or something. But the idea is, and it just always stuck with me, that there are 24 usable hours in every day. And it's really up to me how I choose to spend and use them. And so that really, when I learned about 168 hours last year, it just really brought me back to this scene and to this idea that I have the control of how I want to spend my time. Now, that being said, there are lots of things that happen that are out of our control. That's not what this is about. This is about really understanding that what we do have control over is setting the intention and being thoughtful about how we want to spend our time. And I am not a big proponent in filling up your calendar and filling up every little block. I think downtime and chill time is so important. I'm a big proponent of that. But it is time, it's our time, and it's my time, and that's my choice, and I can own that. And that's what's really exciting and empowering about all of this. So this idea of 168 hours, really simplistically, is there are 168 hours in the week, and doing an audit to figure out how you are spending your time. This is one way of looking. I don't love the buckets. I like the buckets. The 3 buckets make sense to me. The idea of dividing everything into 3 equal buckets isn't something that makes sense to me, but this idea of 3 buckets, your 3 big rocks, as Reese said, the 3 big rocks, and that idea of the big rocks is what you focus on first. That is something that I really get behind. So really what this activity, what this exercise exploration really is about, thinking about and really auditing how you spend those 168 hours. So I did this last year. It was June 10th, so about a year ago. It was, I think, a homework and exploration activity with Thrive Squared. And this is really what I did. I thought my 3 big buckets were family time, work, and sleep. And that's what I spend the majority of my time doing, one of those 3 things. And granted, there are lots of other little things that come in there, but these are my 3 big rocks. So I just broke down into, you can see, sleep for me. This is last year. I was going to bed around 10, waking up around 7. I've always, since God, as long as I can remember, had segmented sleep. So I'll wake up and be awake for 1 to 2 hours in the middle of the night. And I might come down and hang out with Mike. He might, I might read a book. I might be on Mighty. I might scroll through Facebook. I don't know. But it's not something that I really want to make. It's still this bucket of this time of sleep, this period of sleep that I'm giving myself. I don't want to have anything else in there, a do thing. It is sleep time. So I'm really giving myself that 10 to 7 is my sleep bucket. Work is 10 to 6-ish. Again, some days are longer, some days are shorter, but about 10 to 6. So that's 40 hours. That's 8 hours, 5 days a week, 40 hours. Then family time. And this is really Sunny time. I have a daughter. At this point, she was 2.5. But it's really when I just was giving of time when I was sharing my time, right? So you'll see in this year's 168 hours, I call it family friends time. But it's still time that I'm sharing with others. And so I have, in that morning period, this was 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., and then 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. And then again, a Saturday and Sunday, really 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So she had an 8 p.m., was going to bed around 8 p.m. That was this. Now in there, on the weekends, there's naps. I took nap. I'm a big proponent of family nap. Or just downtime, or we run errands, lots of things come in here, right? Are in these buckets, but these are just a big overarching buckets that I'm kind of over, what's the word? Estimating. That's the word. Overestimating these buckets as well, and not really getting in the nitpicky of things, but just kind of giving these big overarching time buckets. So what I did is I added up. So sleep is 63 hours a week, work is 40 hours, and then family time is 37 hours. I added those up and got 140 hours. 140 hours, and then I subtracted 140 from 168, and I got 28 hours this was this huge aha for me. And I think I posted about it in our Mighty thread. I think I was like telling people about it, because there's always this like idea that like, we just need another day in the week to get everything done, or another day in the week to like do it all, right? And I literally was just gifted a day, a full day plus 4 hours. And it was just like this really awesome feeling. And it was just like this, like, just, I guess, that aha, this mindset shift of this gift of time, and that really I do have all the time I need. I have all the time I want. I have more time than I need. And so now I have 28 hours that I get to play with, and I get to really figure out how I'm spending this extra time. And so then at this point is where you really go into your Plan to Thrive guide, going like go back to like what Rita's, the different calendars, and really kind of mapping things out either by the week or the month or the year and the day. Like you can go super macro, super micro. But this is a really good, for me, this is just a really good way just to feel that abundance of time. This was last year. I did it again for this year. I was on a call with Pleasance a few weeks ago, and I was feeling that like scarcity of time, and just that I wasn't really taking advantage of all the time that I had. And I was like, that's why I probably should do this 168 hours for this video, because I need to do it again to feel that hopeful gift, right? I mean, I've only done it once. Now I've done it twice. You'll get to see those results. But, I don't know. I'm really I was really feeling just like this crunch, and just there were lots of things that I wasn't really being intentional with how I was spending my time. And I knew that because I did 168 hours before, I knew that it was possible that I had everything I needed, and I had all the physical time I needed. I just need to think about it differently. So that's what I did here. So this I did. And so again, my buckets were the same. Again, I did put family, friends here, but it's the same, right? So pretty much, so the big change that has happened in this past year is that Sunny now sleeps with us. We now have family bed. And in the stage of our life, it's not forever, it's for now, but it's for now. And it's right now. And so I go to bed with her, which means I now go to bed between 9 and 10. And having that like time in the evening that I was having more kind of me time or just downtime isn't there anymore. And I think that's where I was really feeling that scarcity kind of creep in, that scarcity mindset creep in. So sleep again, 9:30 to 7 a.m. Then work is still 10 to 6-ish, so that's still 40. And then friends, family, this part is more, right? Like I feel like I'm devoting a lot more time. The family piece because bedtime looks different now. So that is 8 to 9. So now Sunny sleeps till about 8. She's going to bed a little bit later, so she's sleeping later, which is good. So really it's just 8 to 9 being like that hour of getting her ready, getting out the door, getting her to preschool or camp, feeling like I've run a marathon. And then again at home, 7 to 10. So there's a longer chunk of that time in the evening. That being said, as she's now 3.5, that time with her, I don't have to be as hands-on all the time. I can read a book. I like yesterday she was playing and I was reading a book. So that it like looks a little different, but it's still time that I'm setting aside that's saying this is family time. So I added it up, right? So 66, sleep is 66 and a half hours, work is 40 hours, and family friends time is 46 hours. And that's, again, Monday through Friday, and then also Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. I let Sunny watch Daniel Tiger when she wakes up in the morning on the weekend. So we're looking at 100, all that is 152 hours. So 152 and a half hours. 168 minus 152 and a half is 15.5 hours. So what was my gift this year? 15 and a half hours. So that's not a full day, but it's pretty damn close to a full day. But it's also just a big chunk of time that even though I was overestimating all of this, and even like in here, right? So within this 7 to 10, like I have a weekly yoga class. Monday is 7:45 to 8:45. That's in here, right? I didn't pull that out and make that a separate bucket. I can do that if I wanted to, and another more I'll show you in a few minutes. I'll share with you some different versions of 168 that really audits and takes into account and makes you account for every single hour. But for me, this and doing it this way, it just feels really nice. It feels good, and it feels like I just see physically, right? I actually have this physical 15 and a half hours that it's like free. It's the freedom. So that's where I am with my 168 hours for this year. And I think it's good doing it once a year, maybe twice a year, or once a season even, just to kind of see everything depending on activities and maybe caring for a family member, like something what might happen that might alter some of this time and alter the like buckets, right? But I think it's just a really cool way of visualizing this freedom that we do have and that this abundance that we do have. So I wanted to show you a couple of other resources. This is where I got kind of turned around last time, so I'm going to be very careful to share things the right way. So, okay, so Laura Vanderkam she wrote a book called 168 Hours, and she has this time tracking tool. I'll link to her website. She has lots of different resources and just templates and different things to work off of. Her stuff, you can see this auditing tool, it goes from like Monday through Sunday, and it literally breaks down in 15-minute increments. It starts at 5 a.m. and goes all the way down to 4:45 a.m. And there is a place for notes and things like that. So this feels a little too tight for me. But this is a great tool, especially if you're someone who really wants to get into the nitty gritty and just kind of really, I guess if you really want to give yourself a really accurate tracking of how you're spending your week. So picking a week and just really keeping track of how you're spending that time, right? Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing is boop, boop. Okay, I guess I can't pull that up. So this is another one that I really like. So it's this guy, Hamza Khan, And he also has really good resources. He has a 168 audit challenge. And this is this Google Doc. He shares it. So it's, you just make a copy. I'll share this with you so you actually have the whole Google Doc. It has instructions on how to do it. And he has the templates, and he also has the examples. So what's really cool about that is you can play around with it. So you can see kind of how this is an example, his example, and you can change what you want in these activities, like what makes sense to you. You may not do writing, but you might do something else, and you would put that in there, or you could delete a line. But everything needs to be green because it should all add up to 168 hours. But you put in the hours that you're doing it, percentage of your week, it populates that, and then also gives you this cool pie chart. So you can visually see those all those buckets of time. Again, he breaks it down into lots smaller buckets and smaller categories. But this is also something really cool. The other cool thing that I like about it is that he also, if you scroll down, it's how I want to spend my time. And so you have those same buckets, those same categories, and now you're putting how you want that to look like. And again, you get to play around with it. So it's totally, I think this would be really cool to do planning for the fall. Like, how do I want my fall to look, right? With everything I know, you can put all the different categories, the different activities and things that make up your bucket, make up your life essentially, and then really put, well, what do I want that to look like? And what do I need to, maybe not do this activity so I have more time to relax with my family, because that's something that I decided I wanted to do. Or just really kind of giving yourself this way to kind of play around with the 168 hours. There is another one, and I don't think I can share it. It's not coming up in my new share. Maybe if I share my screen. Okay, yeah, so I think now I'm sharing it. Okay, so this is another one, and this is kind of like that, but kind of like Hamsa Khan's, but a little bit more simplified. It's actually a university did this, and I'm really excited to use this because I work with high school students and college students. I think this will be a really cool tool. I'm just going to delete some of the really specific to the university language, but you can really play around in this, if I sleep, 7 hours a night, right, what that equals, and then just kind of putting it in, everything gives you like what your total hours a week is. Hours a week minus this, I just put 49, but it will update like what your gift of time is essentially. But really kind of playing around and seeing, and it's just a more, I think, simple way of looking at like the one we just looked at with Hamsa Khan's. But I think this is really cool. We've been sharing with kids. It's a cool way for them to visualize just and really see and understand how time, how they really are in control, and they can make choices and decisions around how they want to spend their time and how that impacts other things that they want to do or don't want to do. So anyway, I will share all of these. I really like that both this one, like it's just really interactive and it updates in real time, and you can just, this is a PDF and you can just keep, playing around with it. So that is this one, so those are those 3 resources. And again, I will share them with you when on Mighty once this video is posted. So again, these are kind of templates if you want to go just like a little bit deeper and really play with time, account for all the 168 hours, like really get a deeper, like dig deeper in that. These would be really great resources to do that with. So in closing, I just saw this. I was scrolling on Instagram and saw this came up, and so I wanted to share it. Okay. Ooh. Not enough hours in the day. Stop doing things that don't matter. I saw this. I was like, I'm screenshotting this and sharing it. And again, it goes back to like our power, our choice, the intentionality and thoughtfulness that we can have in how we live. Even our most mundane day-to-day, week-to-week, 168 hours, we really have the power and control in it. So with that, I will say to love life and to go live fully and freely. And I'm really excited. I really would love for you all to do at least the Brett version of 168 hours and let me know what your gift of time is. It might be 28 hours. It might be 5 hours. It might be 2 hours. I don't know. Maybe it's negative. That's something to talk about. But let's like really figure out like what, I just would love to start having this conversation about what you guys find out in your gift of time, living freely and fully. It is our birthright. So on that, take care.